All right. So, blue-red Phoenix. We're playing Modern, and Modern's a very reasonable and not inbred or slanted format at all. So we've got 2 main deck copies of Surgical Extraction here. Now, one of the nice things about Surgical Extraction, when we're not playing against graveyard decks, and this deck specifically, is that this is a free spell that can be the last spell to put our Phoenixes into play when we're otherwise out of mana. It's also a free spell that helps us flip Thing in the Ice a little bit sooner as a bit of a surprise. This deck gained a really critical piece out of Modern Horizons in Aria of Flame. So this card gives your opponent 10 life when it enters the battlefield. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you put a counter on this and then deal damage to your opponent equal to the number of counters on it. This card generally kills people in 5 to 6 spells a lot of the time if you haven't done any other damage to them. One of the reasons why this card was such a big pickup for this archetype is because previously this archetype had played cards like, what's it called? Pyromancer's Ascension. And part of the problem with that is that Pyromancer's Ascension is a card that depends on your graveyard. So, like, people were frequently already bringing in cards like Leyline and Surgical and Rest in Peace against you. So your secondary win condition, when it was Pyromancer's Ascension, it got caught by some of the same hate that your Phoenix has got caught by. So the fact that Aria of Flame is a card that rewards us for casting a lot of instant sorceries, but doesn't get hosed by the same hate that Arclight Phoenix gets hosed by, makes it a very reasonable alternative win condition in the deck. So we've played some Blue-Red Phoenix in the past. We've explicitly not played Blue-Red Phoenix since Aria of Flame / Modern Horizons was released. So let's dive on into some matches here and see how this goes. This is very much the wrong deck. I do not want to play this dumpster fire again. Please, please no. Please no. Don't make me do it again. Don't make me do it again. Flesh-Eating Gnome, thanks for the 10 months of Prime support. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Dannon, thank you for the very generous tier 3 resub of the 12 months at that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Gendy, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate all you do here, and you're fantastic at it. Well, thanks for keeping me around.
Do you prefer the store closed or open?
Open is ideal. Keeps it cooler in here. Yeah, that sounds fine, right? How was Gen Con? It was good. Saturday was pretty busy. I think I enjoyed Thursday and Friday more than Saturdays. There were so many people there on Saturdays. And by Sunday, we only spent a couple hours Sunday mornings. We had to drive back. And the kids stayed with my parents for the weekend in Chicago. So, like, rather than just driving 3 hours to Indy, we have to, like, drive 2.5 hours up to Chicago and then 2.5 hours back down. Mr. Lifeguard, thank you for the 1.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Big Mouth is a Netflix cartoon, right? If so, no, I have not watched that one. I'm going to bottom Bolt in the Dark here, and I think keep the Serum Visions. So generally speaking, when you're playing this archetype, you want to be sequencing it so you cast your Faithless Lootings as your final cantrip to give you the most chances to draw into pigeons. I assume we're going to lose Finale of Promise here. For the regulars that are coming in, I'm going to be talking about the Modern's great. Modern's great. Truly enjoyable. It's a format that I love playing. This format's such an inbred cluster. Yeah, I mean, their Surgical was a 1-for-1 there, right? Because they took a card out of my hand, too. Yeah, I mean, like, and we can't even judge, right? Because, like, we have two main deck surgicals, too. Like, it's above the board, like, what this format is, right? Like, we all get it. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! Get him. Get him, little pigeon. Yeah, I miss the days when we used to make fun of legacy players for main decking Pyroblast. So like I feel like surgical is a similar level to offensive in terms of like main decking it. At least in Legacy, you like have the excuse of you can brainstorm the Pyroblast away when it's not good. I guess in this format, you could argue we can Faithless Looting the surgicals away. So I guess we have a similar cop out, huh? Yeah, unless my opponent has another surgical here, they really messed up. Oh, about regulars. For the regulars that are showing up thinking I started a little bit early today, I'm going to be starting earlier than normal moving forward from now on. So, for those that are just coming in now, I've been live for almost an hour. And that's going to be the new normal on this stream. Yeah, I did 7 a.m. on Wednesday last week, but then I was off. I was off Thursday, Friday. That's just good to remind people when things change. Yeah, I'm starting an hour earlier. Yep. So my scheduled start and end time is going to be 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Cornfield time moving forward. I will, like today, because it's the first day back after the con, I'm going to be running late today, so I'm still going to sporadically be running late as my schedule permits, especially around set release times, as we are frequently known to do. All right, so we get to Sinkhole this. Yeah, because Jake, sporadically be like, I'm done, see you tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully we're not gonna have too many decks like that anymore. And usually on those days, that only happens on days we're scheduled to be extra long. So I think my plan moving forward is the goal is gonna be 2 modern and 3 standard decks on a normal day. So like 3-ish hours of Moto in the morning, 4-ish hours of standard on Arena in the late morning, afternoon. My opponent's playing mono black discard, basically. I think the Seasoned Pyromancers are good here. I think these surgical extractions are not. Lava Dart doesn't seem like it kills anything. They had a few things with 3 toughness, so maybe this. Hey, Century, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. They could be some kind of 8-rack variant, but they had Gifted Aetherborn and they had Plague Carrier, so they could be some kind of weird devotion deck too. I was gonna do that. I'm gonna cut these and just bring in some Seasons and some Abrades. Perfect, Gannon. So I'll take F, and it's great. So, this hand doesn't really do anything, but a lot of your opening hands with this deck are just full of cantrips. And against a deck full of 1-mana discard spells, you really just want to keep most hands with a deck like this. That can like play Magic. Sweet Danny, yeah, someone, the person who took second, actually, they tweeted at me. They said they drew inspiration from the website. I did not try the treasure event on MTGA Conqueror. Not a big fan of the alt modes, or the alt event modes. And it, usually they're best of one, right? Which is another thing that I'm, like, not huge on. I generally prefer to play best of 3 Magic. The top 4 decks in the Red Bull Tournament Finals had 16 3 free. Yep, sounds right. I think I'm actually just gonna hang tight for a turn here and like hope to cantrip into another 1-mana spell next turn to like get this Phoenix going. Engineer, thank you for that very generous tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Discard a card, yep. Yeah, I agree. I also don't really care for how the full art lands look on Arena. Much prefer the borderless lands. Alright, so another cantrip. And again, we want to sequence in a way that casts Faithless Looting last, because this gives us the most chances to draw more Sky Pigeons. If they have a Surgical here, we're going to be in trouble. If they don't have a Surgical, we're in a pretty good spot. Alright, Pigeons. The Lord said they discarded a Dread Horde Invasion. Alright. Yeah, Mayhem. Someone else commented Mayhem Devil was really good with a bunch of treasures, which seems good because it triggers when your opponent stacks treasures too, right? Ninja Dave, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, when in doubt, aggro them out. That's probably a fine mantra to apply there. Hey, Fam Squid. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. I did see I have a message from you, Dows. I usually don't check messages midstream, though. I'll catch up with you after I'm offline today. Where's my dashboard? Alright, I think we're just Serum Visioning here. I have a joke to go with this. A flamingo was cleaning his nest his feathers. After a few minutes, he came across a black feather. Then a raven landed next to him and shouted, "That's Naya feather." All right, so we're looking for a 1 mana spell here, so that way we can trigger perfect. We're gonna cast this. Can I time out whoever said that? So this is one of the funnier interactions in this deck. So the Thing in the Ice is going to flip the Arclight Phoenix back to our hand, and then the Faithless Looting lets us discard the Arclight Phoenix. So the Thing in the Ice trigger basically draws us a card here, because it puts this back in our hand, and then we discard it and get it back immediately at enter combat. Was that a good draw? What do we think, chap? How do we feel about this one? Scale of 1 to 10. Hey, Micah. Well, thanks for being here and thanks for the support. Happy Monday. Pew 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 pew. Get him. Get him. Now, if they have a Reflector Mage, we could be in a little bit of trouble. If they don't have Reflector Mage, this Thing in the Ice is probably going to give them, put them in a little bit of a trash can here. Yikes. Yikes. We're just killing Talia here. Gosh, Finale of Promise is 3 spells for Thing in the Ice. That's so good. This card seems sweet in this deck. And I'd gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling mages. Bolt this at end of turn. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible I should just fetch that tapped. Yeah, I agree, Jin. Speaking of Yarok Field and other things, we're playing Modern right now. It's been a while since I've done written content, but two 5-hour car rides turns out is really good for sitting down and hammering out some content. So I had, if you've been enjoying the Jeskai tempo deck we've been playing in Modern, a full primer on that went up on Cool Stuff Inc. on Friday. And if you've been enjoying the Yarok Field deck in Standard, I should have a primer on that going up later this week. That's unfortunate. I guess we're just finaleing and killing their board here. I think that's the play. We're gonna Finale of Promise, pick Bolt, pick Flame Slash. Target you, target you. Still a pretty healthy life total here. We've got 3 cards left in our hand to their 2 cards, and we have more lands in play than them. So I feel like we're in a pretty good spot, especially when you factor in that, like, I've got 2 Faithless Lootings in the bin to, like, filter out some of my card quality a little bit. I hope you weren't the one driving when you wrote those articles, the 5-hour journey. You know, it's funny. Christy doesn't usually like to drive, so I offered to let her type while I dictated, and she chose to drive instead. So, no, I was not the one driving. I assume playing against Factor Fiction or Liliana Vale's alt a lot makes you good at the divide and share games like New York Slice. Yeah, actually. Slice is one of those games that, like, when you play with muggles, it tends to not be fair. One of those games where, like, being good at magic deck building and strategy gives you kind of an unfair advantage. Very, very similar skill sets. I could potentially flip this over this turn, huh? If we run real good. You can find a Phoenix this turn too, potentially. I'm gonna bottom that, which might be aggressive. I just want to give myself the most possible looks at a bird here. Okie doke. Played Throw Burrito this weekend with the kids. Lots of fun. I haven't heard of that one. Sounds like a kid's game. Start by flashing back looting from the bin here. See where we go. Crackling Drake's not a terrible pickup. Oh, I could have replayed the thing, right? Because it has a different name. I totally could have replayed the thing. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, because this explicitly says you can't play the named card, right? And this has, they bounce the Awoken Horror, not Thing in the Ice. That's brutal. This is a series that punishes that mistake there on my part. Although I guess I probably wouldn't have been able to flip this over anyways, right? I don't have anything I can do here, right? Yeah, maybe if I replay the thing, we end up okay there. I probably would have been able to flip it over, like, buy a little bit more time. At the end of the day, I think it's a travesty that Reflector Mage isn't banned in Modern. We banned Stoneforge Mystic because it was too good in Standard. But Reflector Mage just gets to rear its ugly head and run rampant in the format. How is that fair? It's not, chat. It's not fair at all. And by that I mean don't ban Reflector Mage. Give me Stoneforge Mystic, please. Griffinson! Thank you for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, they hit all three mages there. If they didn't hit all three, like if they hadn't found the third one, I think we would have been fine, because the Drake would have traded with their big guy. And the Thing of the Ices would have had time. Do I want Blood Moon? Yeah, I guess Blood Moon's pretty good here. Yeah, I'm not done sideboarding Equinox. I haven't submitted yet. Aria of Flame's probably too slow. Yeah, especially on the play, Blood Moon seems pretty good. Drake's probably a little slow overall. I'm gonna trim him. Hey, thanks for the 27 months, Equinox. Welcome back. Happy Monday. This hand's pretty good. Turn 1, Scour. Turn 2, Sinkhole. Turn 3, Blood Moon. Aether Vial means that they'll be able to play some magic through this Blood Moon, but it should hopefully slow them down enough that we can get pretty far ahead. Fetch our second basic island before we jam this. And obviously they have another 1-drop here, right? Or they wouldn't have played Noble out with the Vial on 1. So not surprised to see that happen. This Blood Moon puts our Steam Vents into play untapped next turn, which is nice. And then I can Bolt plus Sinkhole. I don't know that I want a flashback dart. Is that important? I think I'm just okay with this, right? That seems fine, Woodwin. Yeah, I had pulled cards for this before I left last week, so I forgot to grab whatever was the immediate latest last night when I logged in and got cards. Let's kill this. The fact that my opponent just like doesn't have any lands might be what pulls them through this game. It's like they have so much actual action. Have a good one, Ryland. Catch you later. Vonin, good morning. So you know they have at minimum 3 spells in their hand. They just drew a card for the turn and they didn't play a land last turn. So like, at the moment, it's like Thing in the Ice versus 3 spells at a minimum, plus the Snowball Arc, which is a little scary. And it'd be better to kill the noble there. I guess killing the noble cuts them off of 1s and 2s, so maybe. I guess they can't Reflector Mage me in that case, right? Or they can't image me, but they can still Reflector Mage me off of this. Yeah, maybe you're right that I should have killed the noble last turn, because then they wouldn't have gotten this into play. Really need to hit a string of cantrips here to flip this thing in the ice over and, like, get some velocity going. We're gonna hold on to that land, because if we draw a Faithless Looting, it could turn into a spell, potentially. Yeah, there's always a higher density of swords during the modern portions, I feel like, because people who enjoy watching Modern have generally been here for a while. You've been doing Moto for a long time, since before Arena existed. Well, I mean, that's a Sky Pigeon that blocks. Like, it wasn't the chain of cantrips we wanted for Christmas, but it'll do in a pinch. Jeff is a full-time Hex player. He just plays Modern on the side. Yeah, Jin gets it. I would like to... So, as someone who believes in being, like, as relatively fair and balanced as possible, and, like, this isn't... What I'm about to say isn't to detract from, like, the good things Arena does. Savage Rocker, thank you for the 15-month resub. I'm very generous tier 3 at that. Welcome back. I think what a lot of people talk about in terms of Moto having a learning curve isn't actually Moto related so much as there's no extension and people just don't know what cards in Modern do. So I think a lot of, like, what Arena, like, Arena's not really... Card games in general, let's use my words correctly, card games in general just straight up aren't really user friendly in terms of helping people figure out, like, what they should be playing, right? Like, it's only by the magic of extensions that these other things could ever dream of being remotely, like, accessible. So, like, if everything on Moto stayed exactly the same, but all of the sudden we, I agree, Burgle. Not Reflector Maging my thing in the ice is a bold strategy. Let's see how it plays out for them here. I'm gonna go with not well. So now I have to ask myself, how greedy do I want to be here? I could play this land, flashback looting, and hope to rip a 1-mana blue spell. For example, I learned the current Modern format by watching your stream. I had a window up to look up cards. It's not the interface. It's the lack of a Twitch extension, which, to be fair, the Arena team didn't make the Arena Twitch extension. That's a third-party thing. Now, they created an output log that can enable that, and, like, something similar could happen for Moto, but, like, Moto's actual interface doesn't really change. I'm gonna flashback this looting. Moto's actual interface doesn't, that's something, that's a thing. All right. Moto's actual interface doesn't really change. I guess I could have discarded both lootings. Nah. Yeah, I agree, Jin. I think that was just a happy accident. I think the fact that the output log enabled those things was, like, a side effect, not the goal. All right, let's get him. I assume this is about to get Reflector Maged. Update on the Democratic primaries. Nothing major. Like, Warren and Buttigieg are still my favorites. The field at this rate is still just like super crowded. There's a bunch of people who are running in the Democratic primary that just have no business being there and need to GTFO and let the adults sort things out. Like anybody who's still polling below, let's say, 2% after the second debate, they should drop out because they're not running for the good of the country. They're just running to try and inflate their own egos and gain name notoriety for themselves. And let the people who actually have a chance sort things out. Brando, thanks for the 10-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, let's destroy your way that lets you get creatures into play. Drew Bra, thank you for the third of year support. Welcome back. I think the cutoff for the third debate is 2%. That's great. That's a good look at that. My made up number was reasonable. Yeah, the reality TV is good for sure. I will say, actually, a good update is I'm not sure I had a lot of respect for a lot of the mainstream news media sources, but any small shred of respect I had for CNN vanished after their hosting of the debate. Like, they're trying to bait Bernie and Warren into giving them sound bites that they could play out of context to upset people was awful. And like, Bernie and Warren are like professionals and they didn't take the bait and give them that soundbite, but the fact that they tried was bad. I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded. Let's just run it back. I wish this deck had a second Abrade in it. Abrade's really sweet in general. I like having ways to kill artifacts. This deck theoretically has 2 ways to take an Ensnaring Bridge off the table. We have 1 Echoing Truth and 1 Abrade. This might be a hand I'm supposed to mulligan in this matchup. I don't know. Thing in the Ice is really good. Hopefully the Serum Visions helps us find some removal. Oh yeah, we have a Shatterstorm in the side too. Good call. Yeah, people who think Bernie is yelling probably just like, those are the same people that think I'm yelling while I'm streaming. It's like, this is just my voice when I'm out. So I think I'm actually supposed to fetch a red source here. Although I guess I have Manamorphose to make extra red mana if I need it. So maybe I'm supposed to prioritize my health total. The fact that I drew this fetch land means that turns into a second red as well. I don't have anything to do with this Arclight Phoenix for now. The Flame Slash is great. Thanks for the 16 months, Thump. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Ads are the best reminder. Thanks for the 7 months, Flying Fluck. Thanks for keeping me around. They don't have video games in other countries. Yeah. I just Thought Scour here. Nah, I think that's fine. They want to take that. It's not really a big deal. Because if I find removal, they're just going to take the removal anyways, right? We only have Moto outside. Nobody, I mean, like, Moto enrages people too, right? Just like in a different way. You're just enraged because it's Magic Online. So we're hoping to dodge Reflector Mage here. If we can dodge Reflector Mage, we can dodge a ball. We are not very good at dodgeball today, it would seem. kind of wish I had that pigeon earlier that we bottomed now. I think I'm just playing a land out. Are we sinkholing something this turn? I feel like I'm sinkholing something. I feel like I'm fetching, like, sinkholing the Kite Sail, and then next turn we'll go, like, Thing, Thought Scour. Hey, RQR Master X, thanks for the 42 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, now that they did that, I think we just go ahead. And kill this. I did not watch the Wednesday debate. I just caught the highlights because I was at a thing in Indy already. I mean, even if I don't like the ideas that Biden like represents, Jin, I can at least accept the fact that by the numbers he deserves to be there on the stage, just by like the virtue of like the number of people who are interested in him and he has name recognition. Like the people who have failed to gain notoriety up until this point are people that should just get out of the way. What don't I like about Biden? He's incredibly moderate. He is basically a centrist, and centrism doesn't work. Centrism, pandering to people who don't understand science and act like it's not real, is not a place we should be in 2020. You can't reach across the aisle and work with people who are only interacting with you in bad faith. At some point, you have to say enough is enough and this isn't okay. Biden is basically a Republican from 30 years ago. And that's fine. I understand people who are aligned with his positions. Like I said, in general, I can understand and interact with people who believe in different things than me, so long as the things that they're promoting aren't like, oh, obviously dog whistles or just played up straight overtly racist. The problem with the current Republican Party is that Trump is a white nationalist, and he encourages white nationalists to do hateful things. That's the problem. And the problem is like his cult, his base are like people who are so brainwashed that they think they don't see the actual reality of what's happening and what he's saying. So they just go, oh, the libs are upset because he's a conservative. No, he's not a conservative. Correct, yeah, that's the other thing, Panza. It's not about convincing people who still support Trump that they shouldn't be supporting Trump is stupid and it's a waste of your time. Instead, you should spend your energy letting people know that their vote does matter and they should get informed and get out and vote. Reality has a liberal bias. So like, if you just tell people, hey, you should read about the issues and get informed, most of the time, they're gonna end up voting liberal if they actually get informed. Why Sticks? Thanks for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Especially when you consider a lot of the things that are touted as incredibly liberal here in the United States aren't really that extreme, aren't really that far left in most other countries in the world. My subscription during this time slot should in no way be taken as support for the idea that playing around with spreadsheets, I like video games. Alright, so I think I'm just supposed to flip this bad boy over. Look at that. We had 2 sky pigeons here. Good beats. Let's go. Feels like the advantage bar is very solidly on our side of the board. Yep. A number of states, I think it was 6 or 7, not enough to say the least, but a number of states are going to have ranked voting for the Democratic primary, and I really wish that that was going to be a this is happening everywhere thing. Really, really wish that that was an everywhere thing and not just a some places thing. YouTube viewer here, dropping off my Prime for another month. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the 3 months, JP. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. That's really unfortunate. I guess I should have, said, wow, am I dead? They just had double, it said double Phantasmal Image and I'm dead? That's kind of a tilt. Wow. Yeah, we're dead, huh? I'm one mana short of Echoing Truth working. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Almost killed the Awoken Horror. Realized I could kill them. Alright, listen. Sometimes you're better off being lucky than being good. That's all I'm saying. Midians, thank you for the 2-month resub. And Covern, thanks for the 10 months. How we doing, folks? Always have it. Hashtag never didn't have it. Sorry, I'm 1 mana short of casting a cantrip and casting Echoing Burgle. So the Echoing was on top of my deck, it wasn't in my hand. And I had 2 lands up. This is a Lava Dart appreciation party. Yep. Alright, let's stand up here, huh? Muted? We're not muted. There's an icon when we're muted. Yeah, standing desks are great. Actually, my father is coming down this weekend to help me put together my new office space on the other side of my basement that we're going to be building out. I need to do some research to figure out what kind of desk I want in there. Alright, so our health total doesn't matter, and we're digging for removal spells. Got it? Yikes. Yikes. I did just give Squishy their sword back. They wanted to skip their primary to auto-nominate Trump. I mean, he's effectively going to be auto-nominated. So from a practicality standpoint, I'm not really sure that it matters. Ewok, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Thought you always auto-nominated the sitting president. I don't know the answer to that, actually. I haven't followed politics long enough to know if that's how things work. I don't think ever, Nivik. Maybe there's also the norm that people just tend to not run against the sitting incumbent. I'd believe that. It was Franklin Pierce, the 14th president. Okay. It happened one time. Alright, let's play Thing in the Ice out here, and then pass back. So, I'm not going to Sinkhole unless they try and kill us. If they try and kill us, obviously we'll Sinkhole to prevent ourselves from dying. But we might just be dead here. Yeah, if they have any protection spell here, we are just dead. I'm back, baby! A magical cow. Thank you for the 4 months support. I appreciate the third of a year. Tino, thank you for the year and a half. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You only don't nominate a president for election if they don't align with your values anymore, and Trump now defines, yep. Honestly, and I said this before, I honestly feel bad for people who are, like, actual conservatives in the United States, because, like, people who are conservatives and not people who want to support, you know, a white nationalist, someone who has done lots of terrible things, like, they don't have a true conservative party in the United States anymore, because the Republican Party is just the party of Trump. Alright, what are we playing against? We're playing Infect, so we want all of our removal spells, basically. Anger of the Gods seems fine. Is this a Force of Negation and Spell Pierce matchup? I feel like it might be. I also feel like Aria of Flame's probably not necessary. Is it just like a random counterspell in here? I feel like I don't want to cut too much. Maybe I'm supposed to trim some number of cantrips in this matchup, just because spending time spinning my tires doing nothing is probably not a good idea. I'm bringing a Miser Blood Moon too. It's probably not good enough for me to want to draw 2, but it's probably also going to shut off Ink Moth. This is effectively a removal spell in some ways, which is nice. I think my turning point in my political stances, for me personally, was that I always thought this idea of the government not spending a lot of money was, like, ideal. So, like, during undergrad, I definitely identified and voted for, in the 2016 election, I definitely voted Libertarian, just because I wanted more choices out of the two-party system. And Illinois is a blue state, so, like, all the votes in Illinois went to the Democrats anyways, because that's how the Electoral College works, regardless of how good or bad it is. I understood that. So, like, I knew my vote ultimately was going to be a blue vote. But, like, the reality of the situation is that, like, that just doesn't work in a practical sense in a lot of ways. If you look at what everybody's doing, all the sides want to spend a lot of money, pretty much. They just want to spend money on different things. So, if they both want to spend a lot of government money anyways, I'd much rather vote for the people that want to spend my money to, like, have healthcare and college education, as opposed to tax cuts for billionaires. So I feel like I feel sometimes these infect decks have regular damage stuff in their sideboard to punish you for hammering your health total. Thing in the Ice is a great pickup here, obviously. Although post-board, my opponent's more likely to have dismembers in their deck. Yep, pretty much, Jin. Alright. Thing is pretty good against Spellskite until it gets dismembered. Yeah. Yep. What was it? I think, what was it? It being a libertarian sounds great until it's your house that's on fire is like just such an incredibly true quote. It's like, well, this sounds awesome until I need to drive to work on a street that's maintained by the government, or I need something to happen that I definitely can't pay out of pocket, right? Like, then this stops working for me. V-Ball! Thanks for the 10 months support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Ooh, Spellskite is a horror. You're right. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Crap. I should have just sinkholed this on my turn. Because now they're going to have mana up to protect it. I don't have any instant or sorceries in my hand to get this thing in the ice going, so I'm just going to go ahead and block here. If they want to burn a pump spell to kill it, that's fine. Alright, so they're tapped out, so we do get an opportunity to kill the Spellskite at least. So what's our best draw next turn? Lava Dart? Which actually, it's funny, the person who submitted this deck said that they had cut this Crackling Drake for a second Lava Dart. Like, if this was a second Lava Dart, like, that thing in the ice would have been more valuable, and we'd have just slaughtered their board here. Anger was a good draw, though. Anger was a good draw. Seems pretty good. As someone who works with a bunch of libertarians, I needed this. Yep. Alright, sweet. So we have a Pigeon to play defense against the Inkmoth Nexus, and we have a Bolt to kill this. I feel like we're in a pretty okay spot. They need a pump spell to attack through the Arclight, and then they need another pump spell to attack through the Crackling Drake, and then we're en route to stabilizing here. I'm going to start attacking here. Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, and I think this is probably because as someone who was raised in a conservative household and then I self-identified as libertarian for a little bit, I have a little bit more sympathy for people who are trying to identify in that way, because like I said, in a really novel situation, if you don't exert very much critical thinking, the idea of what libertarians claim to stand for feels very appealing emotionally, at least I think, to a lot of people. But then when you really think hard about it and think about how the world actually works and how things happen, it's very, most reasonable people are going to realize that this isn't practical, right? At least that's what I'd like to believe. I think the divide between thinking you want to identify as a libertarian and getting to a reasonable position is much smaller than the divide between Trump doesn't say overtly racist things and getting to a reasonable position. Because at this point, if you're still not on the Trump's pretty racist bandwagon, you're probably never going to be convinced otherwise, regardless of what happens or what's said. I think I'm pretty happy with how we boarded here. This seems fine. Maybe I do want these Force of Negations on the draw. The problem is that, like, especially if I cut some of these cantrips, my blue count is not particularly high. So I have 17 blue cards. I'm just gonna click submit. How was Gen Con? Gen Con was reasonable. Thursday and Friday was a lot of fun. I want to show this thing off because listen, I've got a trophy, chat. I've got to show you my trophy. I am the New York Slice National Champion, expert pizza cutter and drafter. Game's a lot of fun if you like drafting games. This scene's great. Has a lava dart and thing in the ice. What's the best board game we played at Gen Con? You know, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of it's kind of a glazed over at this point. We have a bunch of stuff upstairs that my wife ended up buying, but I don't think I had any really standouts of things that I picked up that were brand new this year. There was one called Catalyst that we demoed that we ended up buying. So I remember the name of that one. So that one's probably reasonable because I remember the name of it. We get a stream with you wearing the apron that you won. Almost certainly at some point. Meeple Circus was a lot of fun with the demo-sized units, but I don't think I could have fun playing it in a normal-sized Meeples. I have a local board game group, kinda. Not really. Please wear more than just the apron. You're not my dad. Don't tell me how to live my life. Yep. Yeah, I agree, Brightstar. I agree. Alright, so I think we're fetching a basic island and then casting Manamorphose here. And with the lava dart in the bin, we might actually be able to flip thing in the ice over this turn. Jensen, thank you for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Huh. Pierce me, Daddy. Pierce me. Papi! Papi! Mmm. Mmm. Yeah, match 3 sounds right. Yeah, because we played humans and then something else. There's an Arclight Phoenix. Okay. I don't have a sorcery in there yet, huh? That sucks. I'm glad Bono knows how the Dryad Arbor Bloodmoon interaction works, because I certainly don't. Alright, so even if they protect this Noble Hierarch here, I get to go ahead and Lava Dart it. And the way they timed their Spell Pierce here means I can actually kill it with Lava Dart. And even if they save it from this Lava Dart, the thing in the ice flips over and sends their stuff back to their hand. It is a little cynical, Jin. It's tough it's tough being capable of empathy sometimes, right? Because, like, at some points, I'm like, man, I feel really bad for all the farmers that are, like, getting screwed by these trade deals. But at the same time, a bunch of those people are people who voted for him. So it's like, you knew what, you should have known what you were getting into. Like, Why does Dryad Arbor stay a creature? Because magic is intuitive and easy to understand. Get rid of Obamacare, but leave my ACA alone. Yep, those are... Yeah. That's why I think one of my favorite quotes surrounding politics is a recent Burgle quote, which is like, reality has a liberal bias. So like it's weird how like as people who like really get informed tend to like skew more and more liberal. And like that was definitely my experience, like growing up and looking up things myself. Like as I went to college and like started looking up things on my own, I was like, oh, this is how things work, huh? Yeah. Tower Knight, thanks for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Seems a little bit land heavy, but it's got a Faithless Looting in it, so like probably fine. Yikes. Yikes. Hopefully they're playing Green Tron, because if they're playing Eldrazi Tron, that means they have a bunch of main deck Eldrazi Tron would not be a good scene for our hero here, basically, is what I'm saying. They have a bunch of main deck chalices. So would much rather be playing against the Eldrazi's than not here. Yeah, we're hoping they're good, Tron. Because honestly, so like, one of the reasons why Eldrazi Tron's ultimate power level is definitely lower than Green Tron's, but it's more of a metagame deck, which often aren't very good in Modern, but when they're good, they're great, right? So like, decks like Phoenix are part of what make Eldrazi Tron so good. They're decks that get hosed by things like Chalice of the Void. I don't know that we're beating a Karn or a Wormcoil from here. Like, I'm not really sure. I guess we get to bolt the Karn, and then we can finale next turn. I guess if they have no other payoffs, we're okay. Okie doke. We have a couple of Blood Moons here. This is the matchup where we explicitly have Alpine Moon in the sideboard for, because especially on the draw, Blood Moon's going to be a little bit too slow a lot of the time. So this is definitely a matchup where Force of Negation is reasonable, Blood Moon's great, Spell Pierce is fine. So I want all of these. Sinkhole's not very good. Aria of Flame is slow. Surgical is not very good. Flame Slash is not very good. I think Lava Dart's probably out. I have no skin in that game. Pythrion, I don't have experience playing either of those decks. I think this is about how I want to sideboard. I don't think Shatterstorm or Abrade are very good here. Yeah, let's go ahead and run it back here. For people who are my regulars and coming in, we are in match 4 here of our second Modern League today. That I'm going to be mentioning a few times this week is that my schedule has moved up. So I'm starting an hour earlier, and a lot of days I'm going to be ending an hour earlier than I normally have. So about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time to about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time is going to be my schedule. But I'll put Modern from about 7 to 10 and Standard from about 10 to 2. The goal is to do 2 Moto decks and then three Standard decks every day. Although today, since it's the first day back after I was off for a long while, we're going to do a little bit extra. Run a little bit long. Time change due to the kids at daycare. It's because kindergarten is done at 2:30. So Jake's I need to be outside for Jake's bus by like 2:45 most days. So if I schedule a run till 2, we'll be able to clear that every time. And occasionally Christy will come home and take him off the bus, but on average it's going to be me most of the time. He starts kindergarten on the 16th, so he's 5. Salt Block, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So like, this is like a fine Phoenix hand. It like sits here and spins its tires a little bit, but like I can't keep this against Tron, right? I guess I have a lot of looks at Blood Moon and Alpine Moon. Anybody have more experience with this deck and want to weigh in? I feel like I need to draw land and I need to draw a hate piece. And I guess I probably need a Faithless Looting too, huh, to really get the Arclight going. I feel like this hand just does too much tire spinning for this matchup, right? We're on the play. I think this hand's worse on the draw. Hey, Boy Toy Troy, thank you for the 13 months support. I appreciate that. All right, let's play Kitchener Release. Oh, this hand is worse, right? This hand is reasonable. Now, I'm not going to say great, but I'm going to say reasonable. And I think I actually bin the Faithless Looting here because I don't really have anything I want to discard, and it is card disadvantage. Get you later, Nivik. Shut up and dribble. I think this is bottoms up here. I need a land and I need a threat still. Okay, there's a threat. Hopefully I don't get punished for this. This is banking pretty heavily on drawing a land naturally next turn. If I hit, the payoff's pretty good though, because like it lets me cast my Thought Scours after my Thing in the Ice flips. They just have natural Tron, or are they not gonna have Tron on 3? Yikes. Yikes. Wow, none of those were lands either. We didn't mill any lands there. It was actually just 7 spells in a row on top of our deck. Woof. This matchup seems like it would be hard on paper, huh? I feel like we don't have that much meaningful disruption. Aside from Thing in the Ice, we don't always have that fast of a clock. They do in fact just have the natural Trons as expected. Tron. It's pretty favored for green Tron. Yeah, and like the small amounts of disruption we do have are things like this, right? That just die to Oblivion Stone. Hey, CJNJ, thank you for the 10 months support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Kinda. So, like, they're still going to be able to O-Stone me in 2 turns, right? Four mana Karn is very good in this matchup. Yeah, because they have Trinisphere in their sideboard usually, right? Trinisphere is one of the bullets they have access to. They went and got a Blast Zone. Yep. Sounds right. Yeah. Urza, Alpine Moon strips the typing off of this. Strips the subtype. Yes, yeah, exactly. They trigger off of the subtype, not the name, which isn't always really obvious just looking at the card. Hey, Ansi Citrus, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate the renewal. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good start to your week and a good start to your August. Yes, flipped Awoken Horror has the converted mana cost of its front side now. That was not always the case. Flip cards used to have a converted mana cost of 0, but now they have the cost of their front side. Okay, so We're actually in a pretty okay spot here. So I had to attack for 7, which means they blow this up and kill this, and then I get to Blood Moon them. So we're by no means a lock to win, but I feel like we have a chance. We're not out of this game. I don't have any pressure in play just yet, but if we hit a good string of cantrips like Faithless Looting, Sleight of Hand, stuff like that after we drop this thing in the ice, we could have a very real shot at being competitive this game still. Thragtusk is terrifying. I guess Bolt kills the front half, and then the thing trigger takes care of the back half, but they still went up to 15, which sucks here. Sleight of Hand is the first in a series of chaining some cantrips together though here. Although a touch, unfortunately, I don't have a second blue. It's probably... I probably messed up by keeping this instead of the second basic island. I didn't have a 4th land at the time, though, and I wanted double red. But it's possible that was a mistake, that choice. Yikes. Caca! Caca! Alright, so Pigeon trades with Thragtusk. Flipped thing cleans up beast tokens, and by that I mean they're about to play 7th land and cast a Karn, which again, just like games like this feel like such a great example of why Blood Moon is like a temporary solution to a permanent problem in a matchup like this, just because they do eventually just hit their land drops and run you over. Yeah, I wanted the trade-off there. We're not racing profitably. That's not a bomb. If they're out of bombs, we have a very good shot here. And we're dead. Yeah, like I said, this matchup felt pretty tough from the Phoenix side. Feel like we don't really have good disruption. We don't really have a very fast clock. The draw a card button is a lie and does not work. That being said, we're 3-1 now. One more match here. Guaranteed to get our points back in a treasure chesty at least, so we got that going for us. Hey, Paula. Is my boy Tron back in the meta? Tron won the Pro Tour, and Tron won the most recent Modern Open. So, yeah, Tron's great. Hagak is not a problem. Please ban Ancient Stirrings. Tron is the good guy. Modern's in a really strange place. Weekend was good, Cajun guy. Sure. I think I'm gonna wait on this Faithless Looting until after I play the thing in the ice out. Could be a mirror, they could be Storm. If we run incredibly hot, we could put both these pigeons into play next turn. Smells like a mirror match. Round 1 Fish, round 2 Elves, rounds 3 to 5 Ponza. Yeah, people like blowing up lands. Yeah, I'm doing pretty all right. I got a good night's sleep last night. I'm an old man, so I was asleep before 10 p.m. Maybe going to bed a little bit earlier to facilitate waking up early. Is there a Modern GP this weekend? God, there's so many GAC events in this format. I'm excited for Tron to win another major tournament, so we can say that they should ban things from that deck. Opponent deep in the tank. Maybe their doorbell ring. They could have a Magmatic Sinkhole and are debating just like killing my thing in the ice with it. Nah, there's a bunch of people who like Modern. They have Lightning Axe in their deck. That's interesting. Aria of Flame. Yep. This card often reads suspend 1, win the game. So that's a little scary. We're still pretty far off. I guess I'm not that far off of killing them here. If we draw some cantrips and like visions into like a second bolt, we just like double bolt them, get 2 Phoenixes back, kill them next turn. So maybe they don't have a bunch of Manamorphose to kill us with this Aria of Flame. The best piece of advice I can always give people is if you personally are not enjoying a format of Magic, just stop playing it for a while. Formats in Magic tend to ebb and flow, even non-rotating formats like this one. And so was that a good draw? What do you think, chat? As far as draws are concerned, was that one good? Just boop you on the nose. Thanks for the 20 life. Smell you later. Yeah, I agree, IGDF. I think the current standard format is like pretty fine for the most part. I think a big part of what makes the current standard format feel a little bit meh is I think most people who play standard are just like ready for change. Like they play the format because they're interested in things changing, and like just the duration that rotation takes to happen right now is just too long. Or like, we're 22 months into a 24-month rotation cycle, and we're just like ready for some change. Like gameplay patterns aside, I would just like a little bit more variety. I started playing standard because I like mid-range decks. Yeah, I agree with that too, Squishy. I felt like for a long time, the play patterns in current standard are very similar to that of modern. And like standard was the place you could go to in order to really play those mid-range style decks that aren't very good in modern on average. When will I be looking at submissions that were put in this weekend? I sent emails to people who put in submissions this weekend last night. If you put in a submission over the weekend, you got an email back last night. Oh, I guess some people put some in late last night. So what was it? When did I send emails? Uh, 7:24 p.m. So anybody who had submitted something before 7:24 p.m. last night got an email back. Anybody else that submitted after, you'll get an email. You get an email today. I don't understand why Renin 6 is good. I feel like the types of games of Magic where Renin 6 is good aren't the types of games of Magic that you're playing in Modern. So I really don't understand what the appeal of that card is. What are my thoughts on Mixer and the idea of competition for Twitch? I think competition breeds innovation, and in general, it's a very good thing. That being said, I'm sure Ninja got the fattest check in the world to start streaming on Mixer instead of Twitch. And for any mid-sized streamer to stream on a platform, other than Twitch is just like taking money and throwing it away. And obviously what I'm about to say is some insight into my metrics, but it's different. It's going to be different in every channel, obviously. But in any given month, 40 to 60% of my subscribers that I have here on this channel are Twitch Prime subs. And while obviously a non-zero number of those people who are subbing with Prime would sub with actual dollars if Prime wasn't an option, I think a lot of them probably wouldn't. So I think you're probably giving up like 30 to 50% income potential in terms of subs by not streaming on a platform that has Prime. Jeremy Stiltson, thank you for the 16 months support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hello, wife.
I'm gonna be home today.
The appeal of Renin 6 in Modern is that you get to play multiple copies of a $90 card to flex on your opponent. Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those things that's like, it's hard to measure in a really true sense of it too. Are the programs incompatible? Could they run? You mean like stream to multiple platforms at the same time? So like my Twitch partner agreement does not allow me to stream to multiple channels simultaneously. If I'm casting something to Twitch, I'm not supposed to be casting it to other platforms. Wax Papers, thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate the Prime. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. The Twitch contract was you couldn't stream on other platforms at all. It might be. It's been a while since I've dug through it. I don't have any desire to stream on other platforms. And then there's also the question of like, you know, what parts of that agreement do they enforce? Like, do they heavily enforce that part of their agreement? I'd imagine they do, but like, there's lots of parts of the, and this is something that Twitch has gotten a lot of flack for, is that Twitch does not enforce their terms of service uniformly, right? Like, all those people who have their streams muted for streaming music that they don't have permission to stream, all of those people are technically breaking their Twitch partner agreement. But Twitch doesn't really ban people or do anything to people for breaking that part of their agreement on almost every one of their streams, right? Arwell, thank you for the third of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. My take on the current position of Modern is that playing decks that are good, like this Phoenix deck, or like the Jeskai Tempo deck that I've enjoyed, decks that are actually powerful, has been fun. Modern is getting more and more like Legacy with every set release, though, in that every set release makes the fringe neat decks more and more unplayable. Every time the power level in this format goes up, every deck that was close to being good enough, like Elves, like Jeskai Ascendancy, those decks have felt worse and worse for me to play in recent months. Twitch's enforcement relies a lot on how much money that streamer makes for them. Like the guys who do something erroneous but don't get banned until actual outrage is sparked. Yeah, I believe that too. Hey, Fire Emblem. Good to be back. So I think I'm gonna play this and then put this Vents into play tapped. Obviously, I could Thought Scour this turn, but Thought Scouring this turn means it isn't a spell to trigger this Arclight Phoenix next turn, which is nice. Sounds good, Anner. I'll take a peek at that tonight. So soon there really will be a modern meta. I don't think so, Vegeta. So what you need to understand too is that even when decks are better, a lot better than other things, a lot of people are playing Magic and Modern extremely casually. And people are not going to stop playing the deck that they love, even if it wins, 20% or 30% less of the time, because it's the deck that they love. Wow, they killed my Phoenix. Okay. They'll just suck it up and lose more often, is what's going to happen in a lot of instances, I think. All right, so do I Aria Flame here? I think I'm supposed to Aria Flame here, because if I miss drawing an instant or sorcery on these two draws, I'm going to end up in a really bad spot. So I think I'm just supposed to, they don't have any pressure in play. I'm at 20. I think I just stick the flame, and then next turn with the Faithless Looting in my bin, I'm guaranteed to be able to bring back Arclight Phoenix. Gen Con was good. Saturday was a little bit busy. But Thursday and Friday was a lot of fun. Now that's an unfortunate turn for us. It's also possible they had this last turn though, but they're firing it off really proactively here, so we're still in a pretty good spot here, right? Like, I'm gonna get to likely flip my thing next turn or the turn after. This Aria Flame's gonna get going. Unless they have a way to bounce the flame, we should be in a pretty good spot here. Here's the mono black deck I submitted. I'm pretty sure I was running hot, but it was a lot of fun. Sounds good, Jace. I appreciate the support. I'm gonna snap surgical my lootings. Sure. Oh, I guess they could take my Manamorphose and take the Manamorphose out of my hand. Yeah, that's smart. Smart. Yeah, Aria of Flame is a good backup plan here for sure. I think I'm actually gonna anger to start because I don't want this thing flipping to give them Snapcaster Mage back. I didn't have enough mana to use Anger as the last spell that turn, right? Oh, I guess Manamorphose, that's true. That's fair. But if they had Surgical, it just gets destroyed. Yeah, if they have a Bolt, I'm a little bit sad because they kill my thing. But if they have the Bolt, like, the Flame is still killing them and they're out of card. So we're in a pretty good spot regardless here. This thing does more damage with every spell we cast. So it's going to do 4 and then 5. So they're dead to 2 spells next turn. So with the cantrip on top of our deck, they're dead next turn if they don't interact with this card. And even if they interact with this card, they have to beat the thing in the ice as well. Upheaval would interact with both. Alright, felt like we ran a little bit hot here in this last one. We had two Phoenixes turn 2, which allowed us to apply a lot of pressure. And we had a good diversity of threats too, right? Like we had the thing in the ice, we had the Aria of Flame, so I feel like things broke pretty well for us there. The person who had submitted this said that they cut the Crackling Drake for another Lava Dart. And in a more aggressive format, I could see that being okay. I don't know, I kind of like the idea of Crackling Drake in general, though. Like, having another way to kill people to diversify your threats feels pretty important in this deck. Like, while this deck sees a lot of cards every game, it doesn't have a ton of threat density, right? So, like, with this Crackling Drake, we only have, what, 11 cards that actually kill people? We have 5, 4, 2, and 2. And going down to just 10 ways to actually end the game feels pretty low. The Tron matchup felt pretty terrible, but I don't know that you can really make that matchup that much better without dedicating a lot of sideboard slots to it. Honestly, it might be bad enough that this one of Alpine Moon is just kind of silly and you should probably play something else and just punt the Tron matchup. I feel like the Alpine Moon is like kind of waffling, like I kind of feel like I care about it, but not enough to actually do something about it. And I think the amount you need to change to actually do something about it is so much that it's not profitable to end up doing a lot of the time, I think. I mean, Damping Sphere is a modern playable card, but not in my deck that wants to cast 3 spells per turn. Because remember, Damping Sphere does more than just shut down lands, right? It's a card that's good against people casting lots of spells in a single turn. Yeah, it's fine against the Valakut decks. Alright, video games. I feel like it's time for video.